Hey there, XXX Legolas XXX. Feeling stuck on choosing between a big bow and singing songs? Or maybe you just want big badass pew pews, flamethrowers, and your own personal big omnic butler?
Do something!
Or maybe you just want to sashay and sissy that walk around the battlefield, boosting the morale of your allies and then evanting your way to success. We've come to the right video because this series that I'm kicking off is going to unapologetically compare the jobs within the same role. And in here, we're going to be talking everything ranged DPS, better known as machinists, dancers, and bards. So factors that I'm going to be going into in this video is comparing personal DPS versus buffing others, which is very important to determine, am I going to be taking all the DPS myself, or am I going to be giving some of my DPS away to allies for them to represent my DPS. The second section is going to be all about the ability of that job to provide other forms of utility. This is going to include things like directly healing your allies. This is going to do things like healing amplifications, whether it's AoE or single target on a tank. Next thing is going to be comparing the mobility. Even though ranged DPS are in general very mobile, some of them are kings within kings. The next point is going to be all about comparing, is their rotation more like muscle memory, or is it going to be more on the fly improvised gameplay? The next 2 points are very important for anyone who doesn't always play with a set group of players, better known as a static, and so this is going to be stackability and puggability. So think about things like using the party finder for an extreme trial. And finally, I'm going to close this off with my personal choices and when I pick what I do when I do. So kicking this off with personal DPS versus buffing others DPS. When we pull up FFLog's numbers in the current raid tier, you can see that generally speaking, DPS is broken down in that if you are buffing allies, you are losing some personal DPS. Essentially, you are taking some of your personal DPS on some of these jobs and you're handing it off to your allies to represent. It can be very powerful if they're very good, or very bad if they're not good. The main takeaway that I'm trying to say is that things are relatively balanced in this area. If you are buffing allies, you're not all of a sudden doing the exact same damage as someone who doesn't buff allies. You're giving away a little bit of your own. So we're going to be putting Machinist on this far side, on the furthest end of the line, as purely personal DPS. The Machinist doesn't provide any group buffs whatsoever. Bard, however, is much different in that they do have skills such as the persistent song effects that they should be maintaining at least some song up 100% of the time as a very powerful party buff. But probably even more important than that, as a bard, it's actually going to be changing your rotation of what you're actually going to be doing depending on what song you're playing. Regardless, a song should be up 100% of the time as the bard, which is going to buff the entire party. Bard also brings battle voice, which is a very powerful raid buff that they can pop every 180 seconds. Now Dancer takes this entire idea of buffing the group and it takes it many steps further. Get it? Steps, because technical step and standard step are Dancer skills. I know I'm gonna get booed in the comments. But the Dancer does provide a ton of group buffs through standard step and technical step and devilment. Dancer is literally the premier, I want to buff other players class in 14. Bar none, Dancer is gonna be your choice. Now let's talk about the utility aside from just providing more damage for allies, which is definitely something we love here, but there's more to this game than that. I should say for this section though that I'm not including role actions, which I'm gonna lump the 10% party-wide mitigation skills into just because whatever range DPS you choose, you're getting these kits, so there's no point in comparing those. So first off is the Machinist has no utility here, and so they're immediately going to that one side. I'm going to be putting Bard in the middle again, because they have useful skills like the Warden's Pian is a fascinatingly cool utility and very unique in any game to preemptively cast the cleanse, and it is a huge CarDB sized, but it is only useful in very fringe scenarios. Another skill called Nature's Manet is powerful and you should use it, however, but don't be surprised if your healers don't exclaim at it being used. It is extremely helpful when you're in an expert roulette or a dungeon just trying to help the healer heal through a big tank pull. Or if the tank is taking a tank buster, it can really help the healers recover them. But it's not the most overt thing. One fringe scenario is that scholars like myself can use this and be like, can you please use this so that you can amplify my ad locrium that I'm going to spread across the entire party. That is definitely a very powerful combo, but I do not really see this being used that often. So is it useful? Yeah, but at the same point in time, I don't think anyone's going to pick the Bard because, oh my god, we need this Nature's Manet. I don't see it. Now, of the three, Dancer's utility is the strongest of the bunch because improvisation boosts the entire party's healing, and Curing Waltz is a direct 600 potency heal to the group stack, which, when we're talking group stack mechanics, there is a lot of them. In a Savage Raid group, you should be stacking with your allies quite a bit, because that is by default something that the healers are going to want. So Dancer just plays into that so nicely. One interesting thing is that you can weave improvisation and Curing Waltz to boost the healing of your own Curing Waltz, because improvisation buff stays just a teeny bit of time after after you start the effect, and so this is a very valid double weave. And I can say, as someone who has healed with this, healers will notice this burst of 660 potency. Give a direct comparison, that is 110 potency stronger than a Cure 3 by the numbers. And for anyone who isn't familiar with what is a Cure 3, it's our current biggest burst heal in a small radius, but it is all for a simple single weave that doesn't cost the dancer any MP, and it's on every minute to just do the curing waltz. It's a little longer for improvisation, but every 60 seconds for curing waltz. So yes, healers love this and they do notice. So don't be surprised in a raid stack if you're asked to use it at particular times as a dancer. Now, the mobility section is based upon comparisons in the same role. All ranged DPS possess ample range of motion and are almost never pinned down, and so we're talking about the kings of kings here. So the machinist doesn't have any mobility skills, so it is sadly lower on the list. Dancer, however, gets an event, which is a 3-charge dash like Tracer from Overwatch, which can be used at any time. It has no real restrictions. It is absolutely crazy. Like, the dancer is easily, by an absolute landslide, the most mobile job in all of 14. It's absolutely wild. Bard gets repelling shot, which is an extremely powerful backward dash that is very sudden and very abrupt. I explicitly remember shocking raid members in Discord chat when I would instantly leap back and they wouldn't expect it. It's really fast, but the problem is that the skill launches you backwards from a target and you must be in basically melee range, which makes it unfortunately very hard to use effectively in many situations, and it does take a little bit of practice to get right. From personal experience, I can say I needed to practice a little bit to get used to this, but once you're in the right situation and are familiar with it, it becomes very amazing actually, landing it comfortably towards the middle. Let's be frank, nothing beats the dancer. It's so ridiculous, it's amazing. In terms of muscle memory versus improvised gameplay, the machinist is extremely geared towards muscle memory side of things. While it has an extremely powerful set of skills that can change up their entire rotation and gameplay and what they're doing at that moment, it is something that you can explicitly pan for. Definitely get used to muscle memory wise. Dancer and Bard, however, relative to all jobs in 14, are extremely improvised. Found players will try like Dragoon or they'll try like Warrior, and then they'll try Bard and they'll be like, whoa, what the hell's going on? You're not going to be able to rely on muscle memory as much for either Dancer or Bard, so we're putting both of them definitely on that side for sure, but one stands way beyond the other, which is Bard, which is filled with so many procs going off here and there to maintain on the fly. And I'd actually argue that it's one of the best things. If you are really not a fan of muscle memory and that's something you dread, Bard is like the #1 recommendation I can make to you, Bard or Dancer. That's actually one of the most beautiful things about the ranged DPS category, is you get this breadth of options. But the only thing that you can predict on the Bard is when to use battle voice and when to change the song, just to make sure you're maintaining 100% song uptime. But aside from that, it's kind of crazy. It's fun. I actually really love it. Now let's talk about stackability, and we're really talking here about a lot of pug concerns, because obviously if you're in a static, you're going to try your best to diversify the roles. But when I talk about stackability, I mean like if you are in a group of say 2 or 3 or 4 bards or machinists or dancers, how bad would that be? And honestly, the machinist is fine stacking. As always, you should diversify the party to have all roles. You are literally given a buff for doing that. But of all the evils, the machinist is actually the most fine. Bard does take a significant hit here because song overlap is a problem, and they give up so much personal DPS to give so many buffs. One thing that you can do though is that you can stagger battle voice buff, and you can align it with different things so that you can make sure, hey, you use battle voice 1, I use battle voice 2, 3, 4, and then you just rotate from there. And now Dancer is the worst of the bunch because it suffers similar to the Bard in just that so much of their DPS is being given away as buffs, and so when you can't stack these buffs, it is really painful. Like having an overlapping technical step is painful, having overlapping devilment is painful. The one really shining recovery for a Dancer is you can stack your standard steps onto the same target and really get those buffs interplaying with one another, which is very helpful. But again, if you are bringing 3 Dancers to party, it is going to be so difficult. You want to stagger your technical steps, you want to stagger your devilments, it's just crazy. And I should say, like off the bat, is like technical step is an essential part of your rotation to get off the technical step plus devilment, and so you will be taking a penalty no matter what you do here, especially when you consider things like flourish, the raid buff windows. You will take a penalty. Now puggability is always going to be something that's a little controversial to actually say, peace and love, but when it comes to pugging, you can't depend on your team to be as effective as if you were in a static group. You can't really predict what is going to happen or who can perform well. So this, to me, from personal experience, machinist bar none gun is the best to pug because you don't know if your team is going to die or make poor use of your buffs. Similar idea for bard, but it does give up less personal DPS for buffs, so it's a little better. But then dancer is the worst I find. It is easiest to hit in rages on pugging when I've been a dancer. I have personally experienced that. What do you mean? I'm not staring at my monitor in complete horror remembering all of those times. Not at all. It's all fine. So now it's about personal choice, or quote-unquote expert opinion. So disclaimer, this is lathered in my personal opinion, and as someone who has played a disgusting amount of jobs and a ton of ranged DPS, here we go. First off is I will play whatever I want given my mood at that time. 14 is so balanced that you really don't need to worry about playing something meta, and I know that this is something that I am asked constantly by World of Warcraft players, like, guys, things are so balanced here, I would not worry. Like, the 500 or so DPS difference between machinist or dancer is so infinitesimally small that if you're failing in rages over that, then your group is doing something really, really wrong. Like, lots of damage downs, dying, weakness debuffs, honestly you have no right to even clear in the first place. So there must be a bigger problem if you're really starting to nitpick at these small of differences. So that being said, the number one thing is whatever mood I'm in at that night. And there has been a single night where I have played all three in raids, and I am not apologizing for doing that, and neither should you. So I'll take the machinist into pugs, or if the group isn't performing well in general, or on nights when I'm really having an off night and I do want a little bit muscle memory involved. And it's sometimes when I'm not doing great, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, I can't really handle the procs of bard. It's like I just get overwhelmed, and when I'm not having a great day, it's just not pretty. Now, I'm going to take bard really whenever I simply want to have a more engaging rotation. Like if I'm super hyped up and like on caffeine and like enjoying myself and the group is doing okay and can represent my buffs well, I'm going to go bard. It's really fun. On the flip side though, like the bard is like the number one job I would avoid pugging if you're with pugs or groups that struggle or mess up mechanics. And now dancer is my number one choice if you have at least one team member that is exceptionally strong. Good black mage or samurai, absolutely buff them and watch them go brrrr. Dancer, however, is going to be my number one pick also if you're doing progression. The ability to move around the field fast allows you to better course correct mistakes, and the healing can actually be, while it's super small, don't get me wrong, it's not going to change at bad healers, but it definitely is something that the healers will notice, and it is helpful. Like second wind, curing waltz, that will help you if your HP is low and the healers aren't attentive to you. And yeah, that does it for this video, so tell me in the comments, what are your choices for ranged DPS, or what makes you play one at a certain time versus another? After all, that last section was heavily doused in my opinion, but I'm curious what other people think. Anyhow, take care and hope to catch you in the next one.